I was respectful of his time and what he had to put into his team, and so I wasn't going to bother him.
You were there. Bill said you were there in Philadelphia on Friday night before the Temple game. How was it? Who was there besides you and Bill?
I'm going to leave that up to those guys who was in the room. I don't, Bill pretty much said it today up there on Jared Lambrecht is Scott's chief of staff from Florida, and he's from Wood River, and they've been, best pals. And I stood up next to Jared during Scott's wedding. We're all great friends, and he's Scott's chief of staff, and he accompanied Scott to most everything along the way. And Jared is a great asset for Scott. And so, we just had a casual conversation, and it got comfortable quick because you had great people in the room. I mean, look at Bill Moose. Couldn't have picked a better man to lead this program right now. And you couldn't have picked a better coach at this time. So this is, them getting along was never going to be a problem.
Why do you think that might be a good fit, Matt? Bill Moose and Scott Frost. What's your early read, I guess?
I know Scott likes Bill from the time that they've spent together, and I know Bill likes Scott. Scott has, I know there was a big transition going from being a coordinator to a head coach, and he knows how big it is to have the right administration in place when you're a head coach. And Bill is a savvy guy that's been around the industry a long time, smart, sharp. He's thoughtful and caring at the same time. He let Scott have his space during this time. And I think Scott is going to be able to learn from Bill during this process. I think they're going to spend a lot of time together, and Scott's going to be able to learn from Bill's knowledge that he's had in college athletics. And Bill, in turn, is going to give Scott the support he needs to be able to, get things done here.
In the meeting in Philly, I heard reference of a suite. Was it in a hotel somewhere?
We met in a room. Yeah, we met in a room in Philly, just it was convenient for everybody. It's no big deal where it was, or not a glamorous spot by any means, which is kind of how it should be for Nebraska. Just like it doesn't need to be glitzy, it just needs to get done.
You remember your first conversation with Moose? He was hired on October 15th. First day on the job was the 23rd. Where in that time frame did you meet him?
Oh boy. Well, the timing was such that my daughter is living in Germany right now, and she's nannying for a Lincoln couple that's in the military over in Germany.
Okay.
And so she's been living there for a few months, and my wife and I, during the off week, had planned to go visit her in Germany. And so I already had plans to leave that Sunday after the Ohio State game. And of course, I could see things coming down the pike, and I knew that I'm going to be leaving town on the day of Bill Moose's press conference. And so I was in the Detroit airport during Bill's press conference, and I listened to it from there and commented over the phone on the radio. And then I was in Europe for the next 8 days or whatever. And so I was gone that whole week. And so it was after that.
Did you guys talk about Scott in your first conversation back in Lincoln?
I believe so. I was in touch with Bill fairly frequently from the time I got back from Europe. And so I don't know if it was the first time or if it was the second time, but it was really early in the process. He knew that I was friends with, a guy that was making a run in college football, so it was a natural fit.
And Matt, obviously you've been in the radio booth for a long time. Does having Scott back here now make you think about taking some other kind of role with the program?
We're still kind of talking about all of those things, Henry, and I don't really want to get into that part of it.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it. Thanks, guys. Sorry.